Hey everyone, this is Buddha and it will be another special video about, this time I will introduce a new concept to the table. Tell me what you guys think. And it did occur to me after being so active for the past few months, streaming, casting, playing a lot, and also coaching. I would like to put the emphasis on coaching because this is where it actually came from. I came across a very recurring pattern in my coaching that I actually felt I needed to share with you, and I tried to structurize it in a pyramid. So here it is, the Starcraft pyramid. And it is a tool, by the way. It is a guideline for you to use to actually steadily get better and even help your coaching if you are coaching, because that is apparently the new trend right now. So I will start by explaining the pyramid itself at each level, and also then we will go on into a discussion about how to actually use it and how to understand it, most importantly, because it might not be as straightforward as it seems. Obviously, a pyramid is pretty straightforward. So let's stop at the base of this very game, Starcraft 2, the economy. It is an economy-based play. By the way, the background game is TLO versus Demaga. I will be looking around and following the action just because it's awesome. It is a recent game, don't worry. Now, the economy, StarCraft is at its base a game of economy. So as long as you did not master your economy, you will not able to progress in this game. You have to understand that at its core you need money to do everything in this game. So this implies having expanding whenever you have more than 25 workers, and constant worker production if you're TOS or Protoss, obviously, and we'll get back to Zerg later. So constant SCV production and expanding whenever you have more than 25 SCVs, no matter what. Next step is actually production. With all that money you need to produce, don't worry about producing what at this stage. As long as you produce, spend that money. It is core, it is fundamental. It won't matter if what you produce, if it sucks against your opponent's army, if it's good, if it's mediocre, as long as you produce. If you master these two keys, you will be surprised at the outcome. It is actually amazing to see some lower level players not having a good economy or production when it is such the base of every RTS, or at least any economy based RTS game. So master economy and production, I swear you will go up faster, and it will enable you to actually reach the higher steps of this pyramid and actually progress your game. Third step, surprisingly, it is the third step right after economy and production. It is knowledge, and this isn't knowledge like scouting in-game. This is knowledge about the game itself. What are the different units? So what is a Marine? What's a Hellion? What's a Zerglin? What are their features? What are they good against, bad against? What are the spells of the units? What upgrades can they get? So general game knowledge. Once you know everything that is in the game, you can progress to information. Information, contrast to knowledge, is actually what you know about this game that you're playing right now. So say TLO, he knows that his opponent is a Zerg. That's information. He now knows where his opponent spawned. That is information, cross map. He knows he has a spine crawler in front, so he knows it is what your opponent decides to show you, what you can scout. Don't forget, scouting is inside information, and it is everything you can gather about this game. Once you have that, you can actually progress to the next step, army. Now, until now, you did not care what was in your army as long as you produced. As long as you produced. Right now, after having knowledge and information, you actually get to army composition. Not only army composition, so what's good against what building roaches against Hellions, but army positioning also. This might seem weird that it's so low, but it is so key, because if you don't have a good engagement, if your units are just slightly more effective than your opponents, you might lose the engagement. And this is not micromanagement, it's just general positioning. If you have your army in the back of the base and your opponent pushes the front, obviously that's not good positioning. So rallying your units at the right place is key, as well as having those important engagements. Now, once you mastered that level, you can actually move on to your build. Now, the build, I hesitated to actually put it at this point in the pyramid. I would have put it a lot higher because it is something very precise. But since we have pros as TLO and Demaga here, TLO almost running his Hellions through actually, as these pros spend hours, days, weeks, even months perfecting builds, they actually give you, the player, a tool to base your own player on. So a build, you don't actually have to figure it out yourself. Steal a pro build and master that build, then you can actually go forward, because the build, figuring it out by yourself is actually quite a time-consuming job, especially working out all the kinks and the timings. So just steal a build, you will do so much better and you will be able to progress. The next builds are obviously, you guys probably all know what build is, but just to be clear, in what order to produce your structures and units, and what is your mid-game goal? What goal do you want to achieve with this build? That is a key concept. Next step is actually control. Now, control is a relatively small step, and once again, this is not micro. Control is, I will start with map control. Having map control, obviously only one player can have map control at one point in the game, so right now TLO just lost it, but it is also what to do with map control. So TLO, with that map control, he expanded, he teched, he did whatever he wants. Now that Demaga has map control, he can safely expand, take his third base, drone up. So it is not only map control, what to do with it, how to gain it, and when it's important to gain it. Control also includes when your army positioning and when to push forward, when to push back, when to go left, when to go right. Not necessarily how to engage, but just controlling your general army. And that is probably just it for control. It is a very small and easy to master step. You just really need to focus on it while you do the upper steps. Don't forget about it. Now, force is actually the fun step. Force, I don't mean brute force like just banging at your opponent's front door. I mean forcing your opponent to do stuff that he does not want to do. Example, harassment, drops, whatever, putting pressure at the front of your base for when you're playing Zerg, forcing units instead of drones. That is a key concept that will come up right after having your build and your control mastered, that will enable you to actually get so much more ahead. And really, we are already very high up in the pyramid. You can see that this is part of force by TLO. He is forcing his opponent to actually pull drone, losing drone, rebuilding these drones. That is awesome. And the next step will actually be in management. And the management is one vague term, so I will try and specify. I mean, in the heat of the action. Right now, TLO harassed. What did Demaga do? He kept his hotkeys, he kept his bases saturated, he actually expanded behind this, so base management is great. Management is one of the more abstract concepts. I did recently hear Day 9 say that base management was the actual way to get from Diamond to Masters, and I have to agree with that. It is so hard to actually keep cool in the action and manage everything that's going on. Use your hotkeys, produce, and really refine the lower steps of the pyramid while you're in the hot zone, while you're being pressured, while you're being dropped, while the opponent is forcing stuff on you. Finally, we get to the step of micro. And micro is one of the most overrated concepts in StarCraft 2, obviously, because of all the